Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. I would like to begin with a quote by Sri Guru Krishnamacharya. I quote, "If you have learned something really well, then the way you express it will not be the same way you learned it." Welcome one and all to the much awaited virtual book release of Asana Sahapati, a comprehensive companion consistent with Krishnamacharya practices, written and formulated by Dr. Lata Satish and Dr. D. Dwarkanath. In times like these, we are grateful that we could share this joyous occasion with you all in spirit on a platform like this. We begin today's proceedings with an invocation to sage Patanjali, written by Guru Sri Krishnamacharya and recited this evening by Dr. Lata Satish.
Om Karayugavidhritabhyam Chakrashankabhidhabhyam Mihirashashinibhabhyam Ayudhabhyam Pradiptam Dashashatavitathabhiprasfutabhiphanaभिः Suyutamaghilavandyam Bhogirajam bhajetam Yasya smaranamatreena Dehavam manasam bhala Liyante tamaham naumi Patanjali Mahamunim Shri Krishna Vagisha Yatishwarabhyam Samprapta Chakrankana Bhashya Saram Shri Narangendra Yadau Samarpitaswam Shri Krishna Vagyamidhe Virodhe Kartike Mase Shatatara Krutodayam Yogacharyam Krishnamaryam Guruvaryamaham bhaje Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now request Dr. D. Dwarkanath to introduce and welcome today's dignitaries and guests.
Namaskaram to the panel of guests. It's my honor and privilege to welcome the guests of this evening, the panel of guests this evening. First of all, I would like to call upon to introduce the chief guest of the evening, Honorable Justice Srimati Prabha Sridevan. She has held the She's well known for her judgments. Okay, and most of all, and after demitting office, she has been the chairperson of the Intellectual Property Appellate Board. So much so, she has become the 50 most important persons in the IP world, and she was tasked with the responsibility to head the think tank in favor of the IPR policy. But all this emanated from a very, very hard work. You might note that she has taken to law studies at the behest of her husband after her children were sufficiently grown up. So that shows the amount of dint of hard work that has gone into her regime. Then she's a voracious reader and also a prolific writer who regularly contributes columns to socially responsible issues. And she is also translated Tamil novels to English. And she's a prolific public speaker, which we are blessed to have her today. And her interest in line drawing, that is also for the benefit of NGOs she has been using. So she's also socially very much inclined and she maintains high standards of yamas and niyamas. So, what more do we require of a yogi? So, this I could classify Madam's path as a Raja Yogi. So, we are blessed to have you, Madam, with this evening. Now, the next panel member, who is affectionately called Balu sir, A.V. Balasubramanian. He's basically MSc degree in chemistry, then postgraduate diploma in molecular biophysics from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Later on, he studied physiology, biophysics at the State University of New York. He has been involved in Indian technologies and sciences, traditional Indian sciences and technology from 1982 onwards. 1995, he founded the Center for Indian Knowledge Systems, devoted to sustainable agriculture, then involved in production of education training materials, and drawing upon the indigenous wisdom. So that is what his lookout is about, all about service. And he is a member of many committees of Government of India, as well as the editorial boards of magazines and journals. So his service-oriented approach and his association with KYM has been very long, since say 90s, early 90s, and even before that. And he has worked with along with Sir. He has been on the editorial board for the Darshanam magazine. He has contributed regularly articles on that, and he also worked as a teacher for some time. And he is truly a karma yogi. Now, the third person on the panel here, Mrs. Mala Srivatsan. So she's an epitome of Guru Bhakti. As a young person, she had the benefit of being a student of Krishnamacharya, and later on, student of Sir Desikachar. And she has also served along with Desikachar in various capacities on the KYM board. And she has been the managing editor of Darshanam and whatnot. She has also, I have also overheard her telling that even before the Sir's class commences, what is the role of the executive trustee is even grooming the classroom. Also, she takes up the responsibility. So that sort of a Guru Bhakti. And she has edited the first biography of Krishnamacharya, Yogacharya Krishnamacharya, the Purna Acharya. So, and she's executive editor of Darshana. Early days of KYM, really she toiled hard to, along with her supportive role, and whatever is and it is greatly out of bhakti. So she's definitely a bhakti yogi. Now, coming to the fourth person in the panel, Dr. Padmavati, a psychiatrist and presently a director of SCAR, Schizophrenia Research Foundation. Now, she is connected with this organization for nearly 3 decades. I think a few months short. In present times of fighting fear of COVID-19, she readily agreed to be part of this program. And she is her approach is a researcher with a constant pursuit of knowledge, and associates yoga therapy as a modality of treatment and to study the effects. So she is a Jnana yogi. So in all, we have a Raja yogi, a Karma yogi, and a Bhakti yogi, and a Jnana yogi for the release of this. So really, we are blessed, madam, and for all the panel members for having agreed to short notice. Thank you. Thanks, one and all. We are all open to hear you. Thank you. Over to you, Nanda.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Lata Satish to share with us an overview of the book Asana Sahapati and offer insights into the making.
A hearty welcome to all of you, all the members here whom I can see. Some of your names I can see. Sorry for unmuting all of you because we have to keep everything in a very tight manner. Really, or for all the delegates, dignitaries who have been on the online panel, welcome, madam. With my bows, I welcome you. And now I am presenting the context of this book very, very briefly. See, there are many classical work on yoga. Yoga Makaranda of Krishnamacharya, Yogasanaгаlu of Krishnamacharya, Heart of Yoga by TKV Deshikachar, and Right on Yoga by BK Saingal. There are so many books on asana practice, and which is available across the world, and people are also aware of it. In this particular context, why this particular book? Now, where is the need for another book on asana practice? So this work was conceived sometime during 2008 when I was sitting in the university, where I wanted to write book on asanas because we were learning so much from sir, and as Mada is aware about it, about that. So we were learning, but there was, all of them were in a part of notes somewhere in a corner, and I wanted to put all of them in a very systematic manner. So that is when it was conceived, and I felt that there is a strong scientific basis and an intelligence behind this particular way of teaching that has come up in Krishnamacharya's tradition of yoga. There was so much of honor for the individual idiosyncrasies who are there, and asanas were not pushed or coerced into the people. It was tailor-made to suit the needs of the individual. So therefore, it was essential to put all these principles in a very harmonious manner, in a structured way in a book. And I also saw that TKV Deshikachar, when he planned a course of asana, it was perfectly suited for the individual, and he brought out the best in the individual for himself or herself. So therefore, it was essential. Over a period of time, I also witnessed that there was a lot of teaching that is happening. Many courses were run by different institutes, studios, and people were transmitting this knowledge of asana practice. And there were a lot of training courses were happening, but there was no book available to refer to. So books that were available was classical, that was there, Heart of Yoga and Asana, Mini Yoga of Yoga were all there, but the principles of course planning, how to apply, etc. were not available. So therefore, I felt along with my colleague Dr. Dwaraka Nath, we put our head together and we decided to bring out a structure and present that as a principles of asana practice. So Dr. Dwaraka Nath, who was with me, was doing his PhD, and he showed a keen interest to convert this knowledge into a systematic, organized way of writing. And he was my right hand. I gave a thought, and he converted the thought into a beautiful, structured message. So thus, this both of us embarked upon this journey sometime during 2017-18, and then it took a lot of time to put photographs and pictures, stick diagrams. We wanted to stay as honest as possible to the traditional knowledge that we have received. There may be many more things which can be added. There are many more books may come on asana principles and practices, more advanced postures, but we have selected some 60 posture and we have put it across, and also with certain basic principles that can be useful for people to practice. But this book does not say that you can do away with a teacher. You need a teacher who is trained in this tradition, and you have a book as a guide for yourself so that you can embark upon this journey of learning. And there are many asanas, unique postures, unique way of presenting asanas are there, modifications are there. There are so many intensifications are there. Probably maybe the next arrangement may be something on that. And I leave it to the discerning readers now to take this journey with a teacher, to follow the guidelines as a companion. This is only a companion to your practice. There are always many more ways to refine and reflect. With this brief note, I thank all the dignitaries and participants who have come here, and thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Time has come for us to share the book with all of you, an event we've all been waiting for. I request Honorable Justice Srimati Prabha Sridevan to show the first copy of the book to the audience as a way of releasing it, and Dr. Padmavati to show her copy as a way of receiving it. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Honorable Justice Srimati Prabha Sridevan to bless the endeavor and say a few words.
Namaskaram to everyone. I thank Dr. Lata Satish and Dr. Dwarakanath for giving me this honor of releasing this book. I also greet Dr. Balasubramaniam, Helen McPherson, who I think I saw, Dr. Padmavati, Ms. Mala Srivatsan, and everyone else who is here witnessing this. The only reason I think I am here is because I had the great good fortune of learning chanting from Sir Desikachar. Shariram Surupam Tadava Kalatram Yasascharu Chitram Ghanam Merutulyam Manaschena Lagno Guru Rangri Padme Tatakim Tatakim Tatak. I can hear his voice. Actually, many of the chanting, when I say it, I can actually hear Sir's voice. And as the years go by, I realize what a great honor and what a blessing I had. And today, I really deem it as a privilege and as a blessing. The book is wonderful. It's very accessible, just like Sir was. Sir was accessible to everyone, and this is very accessible. And as Helen McPherson says in her review, this is really Guru Bhakti in a book form. That's all I can say. It's really all your dedication to Sir. And it also removes what I saw from, I mean, I don't claim to have read it in detail, but what I saw was it demystifies certain misconceptions. You have made it clear that it is accessible to everybody. Everybody can read it. It makes no discrimination, yoga teaching. And the compassion of Guru Sri Krishnamacharya, that comes through here, and the kindness of Sir. I'm really honored. I really don't know. I think it's Sir's blessing that has made you invite me here today. And I didn't even know that those stick diagrams were his invention. I've spent so many classes with him, and not once has Sir said that the simple way of making it clear to even duds like me was his invention, and he claimed no intellectual property to it. It was what we call in IP jargon, he put it in public domain for everyone. I mean, that is a real creator. And thank you. I cannot thank you enough for giving me this book and asking me to give it to Dr. Padmavati. I'm sure everybody here today is blessed by the gurus. And by the way, I like the chronicles part. It made the book so human. It was not just a technical book, it was a human book. Thank you very much. Congratulations. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Your appreciation and blessings means a lot to us. Next, we will have Shri A.V. Balasubramaniam show a copy of the book to the audience as a way of releasing it, and Dr. Mala Srivatsan to show her copy as a way of receiving it.
Mala, I'm extremely happy to show you the copy of this book. Yeah.
Thank you, Balu. I'm extremely proud to receive the copy from you too.
We are bonded up with one of the closest relationships we can have in India. We are Guru Bhais, you know. People who are siblings because we have learned from the same teacher. They call Guru Bhai. I guess that makes you a Guru Bahan for me. Honored, Mala. Okay.
I'm honored too, Mr. Balu. You have been my senior and the torchbearer of KYM too. So
now I would like to share the floor with Shri A.V. Balasubramaniam and request him to say a few words, please.
Among the many things I was reading during this lockdown, I had the opportunity to read this delightful essay by the poet A.K. Ramanujam. And he made a very perceptive remark. He says, no Indian ever reads the Ramayana or Mahabharata for the first time ever. When you read the Ramayana, Mahabharata, it seems that you have a civilizational memory of it and you're recalling something that you already known for ages. I think asana and pranayama have that kind of quality. You know, almost anybody who grows up in the soil or breathes this air, they say that, yeah, we know it already. What's new about that? We have heard about it, and I've seen my grandfather do it. I've seen my neighbors do it. I've seen it all over the place. So what's so special about it? As I'm trying to recall that as a 26-year-old kid, when I first came to the mandiram, if I can use what may sound as a light modern expression, I was just blown away by what I saw for the first time and what I received from my teacher Prabhakar, and then later from my teacher Deshikachar. And some of the most seminal things that I learned was that first thing is that asana and pranayama are adapted to suit the individual and not the other way. And it's not striking a form like mime or dance. It's a total integration of body, breath, and mind, and that's what is the essence of yoga. There are no preconditions. This is something which is remarkable. People are accepted as they are. You're not asked to stop this or start that or get up at some time in the morning or do this or that. And Deshikachar would put you at ease by saying that quite often these are the effects of practicing yoga. Please don't impose this as a precondition. And it's with a sense of spectacular discovery that I walk down this path. And if you just ask me what is it that keeps this tradition alive, what is needed to keep this tradition alive? On the one side, we may have a theoretical framework that is staggeringly perfect, of the kind that Patanjali has offered. It's perhaps comparable to what Euclid did for geometry eons back in Europe, in pre-medieval Europe, in the Greek civilization. That kind of theoretical perfection is there. There can be intricacies, there can be great lofty knowledge that is held by Krishnamacharya as a healer, as a teacher. But I think the most important thing that keeps this tradition alive is that somebody has to keep walking this path. A few decades back, the Paramacharya of Kanchipuram made a remark about the Sanatana Dharma, saying that what keeps it alive is not just the perfection of the language or the theory or anything, but somebody has to keep walking this path. That's what keeps this alive. So I rather like this title, Sahapati. In fact, there are many synonyms for many words in Indian languages. Like for the wife, there are many words like Bharya and all that, but the term that I like best is Sahadharmini, which really means she who walks along with you in the path of Dharma. Sahadharmachari, they say. So the Sahapati has a nice link to it. Looks like you want to take a path along the yoga, you want to take a walk along the path of yoga. Here is a companion. It's not replacing your guru. It's sharing thoughts. It's a sounding board. It's sharing reflections. It's something very, very nice. And I feel that these principles have to be restated, revisited. We have all perhaps read in 1930s, Krishnamacharya wrote Yoga Makaranda. But when he was writing texts in 1970s, answering questions in 1980s, there are certain things that had changed. What he was teaching or saying in 1930s was not mechanically being repeated. But he was taking note of changes. He was taking note of the changing requirements. And what he taught during the years was a renewed expression of what is that basic principle. So it's as part of the tradition that I think that it's very nice that Dr. Lata and Dr. Dwaraknath, who both have very rich experience in it, are taking this tradition forward by restating it once again, revisiting the fundamental principles and stating it for what is today. It's also extremely nice that it gives me an opportunity to meet on this occasion not only Dr. Lata and Dr. Dwarakanath, but so many others who have rich associations with tradition as well as what it means to me. Mala Srivatsan and I met her for the first time in 1991 when Deshikachar called me into his room and said, we want to start this journal Darshanam. Okay, sir, you want me to do something? Yes, I want you to be the editor. Who will be the publisher? Mala Appa. Then I looked a bit blank. I didn't know. He said, Appa was a student. So that is a one sentence description of Mala, and I didn't want to hear, there's no need to say anything more. Oh, he is Krishnamacharya's student. That's quite fine. Justice Prabha Sridevan, a lot of people may know her through IPR and her judgments. But for me, the foremost qualification in this context is that it's thanks to her family that Krishnamacharya relocated primarily from Mysore to Chennai and she came here. So I think we all owe a great big thanks to Prabha Sridevan's family for having been part of that. I'm also very happy to see in this Helen McPherson, and this is one thing which Deshikacharya has always told me, that many times when he used to repeat or try to share his teachings with people from across cultures, people from other cultures would challenge him saying that what is the basis for this, why do you see that? And that has often made him to go back to his tradition or his father and seek answers. Just one example I'll share with you. In the beginning of Vedic chant, we always, to the end of Shanti Patam, we say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So it seems once a Western student asked him, why do you say Shanti thrice? Deshikacharya said, I have been learning this from my father for years, but he never thought of that. He said, I'll find out. And then I asked his father. Then his father told him that whenever you start on any venture, you may have three types of obstacles, which they call as Adhyatmika, internal to you. Adi Bhautika, due to other living things, or Adi Devika, during divine forces, and you pray that you should be rid of all these three obstacles or be able to overcome. He said, these Westerners provoke me and ask such questions to me, so I have to go back and enrich my learning. So I'm happy to see you, ma'am, in the panel. Most welcome. So I'm extremely happy to have this opportunity to offer this, and I congratulate Dr. Lata and Dr. Dwarakanath for this bold venture for restating. This is something which has to continue once at least in every generation, restating and revisiting of principles. I am thankful for you having invited me, and I'm honored to be part of this gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those words that based yogic wisdom on Guru Bhakti and camaraderie. They added immensely to an event of this kind. Now I request Srimati Mala Srivatsan to share with us her thoughts this evening.
Good evening to all of you, and thank you very much for letting me be a part of this panel. And it's a great honor to be in this release of this book. It gives me immense pleasure to be here, and like just how Mr. Balasubramaniam said, Sahapati, the word itself, it just shows that Dr. Lata Satish and Dr. Dwarakanath have walked along with their gurus in their tradition and in their utmost belief to bring out this book. It is in so much perfection with what Krishnamacharya taught, experienced, and Desikacharya's teachings and the way he wanted it to be presented to the world. So this is an amazing book which is so much in line with the tradition, which I'm so happy to be a part of the release. It's actually I'd like to just share a few words about the gurus from which we learned this, because I think at every point we owe it to them. Very rare to find masters, who are capable of changing the patterns, of changing the needs to the people, though they might be very traditional and orthodox. For that, we owe a big to Krishnamacharya. Being a very cultural, a very traditional and orthodox person, he changed his way of teaching to the present world that he had. And this also says, he would always say that yoga serves the individual and does this through transformation rather than giving information. What a beautiful thing to say. So he thought when people were taught yoga, that has to transform the person. Let it be from the mind level, body level, spiritual level, whichever level you might call it, rather than just giving an information. So yoga was not an information for him, it was a transformation. And this same tradition has been walked through by Desikachar in no other terms. His Guru Bhakti to his father was such a fantastic thing to witness and experience along with Desikachar. For everything he would say, it's from him. To think of Sir, there are very few things, there are very many things that one can say, but the first striking thing is his simplicity and generosity. Generosity in different levels, but here as a teacher, his generosity in the way he participated and the way he gave things to people, the way he would love to share whatever he learned from his father. He have never had doubts about withholding something to himself, not letting a portion not be revealed. No, everything was in the open. Anybody who wanted to learn, was eager to learn, was there to receive from him. His generosity was something unparalleled that one can't think of. The only thing I can think of when I think of Krishnamacharya and Desikachar, it always makes me think of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa as Krishnamacharya and Vivekananda as Desikachar. He saw so much of information, knowledge in his father, and was very, very determined to spread this to the world, that everybody should know the techniques of Krishnamacharya. Everybody should know the way he taught yoga as a wholeness, as a whole principle, rather than just asana practice or a pranayama practice. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, like Krishnamacharya, was in a place meditating, gave all that he could by his teaching, by his experience, and Desikachar took it to the world, to every nook and corner of the world. And I'm sure people all over the world who are now practicing the Krishnamacharya way of teaching have owed all to Desikachar for the immense amount of knowledge that he has, that he has given to them, and with a big generous mind has led them practice, establish their own institutes, and let them teach their own way, depending on their own culture and tradition, which was a very big, important thing for Krishnamacharya too. He thought, I remember, I want to give you a small anecdote where he was teaching how to say Narayana. And when he was talking and giving lectures in a class, in a very small group in his house, he would end saying Narayana. And there one foreigner was there and asked him, what does that Narayana mean? What does it indicate? So Krishnamacharya just told him, to me it means different thing. Go back to your culture, go back to your country and find out what is equivalent to Narayana and practice that. So he never imposed anything on anybody. He let them practice things that was in their tradition, in their culture, but was open that whatever was could come as a well-being from this asana, pranayama, dhyana practice as a whole, adapted by everybody in their own way. And this is to give this father's teaching was the biggest aim for Desikachar, with the view which he established the KYM with absolutely no other intention behind him. It was created as a public charitable trust. Now, with this kind of experience and teaching where we all were groomed, I can see all this experience and teaching, how much it has gone into this book where Dr. Lata Satish and Dr. Dwarakanath has presented in such a beautiful way. It's just not the principles or the way you practice yoga, the adaptations, how you're able to bring the breath into the practice, how modifications can be done. And as they say, I think this book, they have walked it along with their guru in their heart. Otherwise, this could not have been done. I thank everyone here who've been in this panel, present here, for letting me speak a few words. And I hope Dr. Lata Satish and Dr. Dwarakanath will bring more books in line with the tradition. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You were deeply humbled and blessed that we could hear accounts from your first-person interactions with the Guru himself. Uh, Moving on, I request Dr. Padmavati to share with the audience her thoughts on this occasion.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I'd like to thank Lata and Dwaraknath for inviting me to be part of a very prestigious panel. I mean, I'm really privileged to be alongside with with persons like Dr. Mr. Sri Prabha Sri Devan, Madam, Dr. A.V. Balasubramaniam, and of course Mala. And of course, the very illustrious, I think everyone out here in the panel, as we see it on Zoom, I think everyone has been a very important part of the whole system of yoga. It seems time for yet another anecdote, on this before I move on to the book. I was actually a very reluctant, guest, I should say, or a visitor to the KYM when Sir was in his house many, almost more than 3 decades ago. Reluctant, why? I was I had just finished my MD, and my teacher, Dr. Sharda Menon, had actually forced me and said, you have to go to the Mandiram. I know I've spoken to so and so on, and you have to go, and had to take a bunch of patients suffering from chronic schizophrenia to the Mandiram. I was sitting outside there in the corridor, flipping through all the magazines that were there, and I was wondering, what am I doing here? I'm not interested in yoga. I don't know anything about yoga, and what am I doing here? And I think, in a way, that was a turning point in my life, because when Sir walked in, the Desikacharya walked into the room, that was when there was some kind of a very magical change in the environment, if I may say so. And for the first time, I realized that there is something new that I can learn. There is something new that I could do in my life, and need not be stuck to just learning and practice of psychology. I had already joined the Schizophrenia Research Foundation at that time, and that was the beginning of my journey, not just at the level of the treatment of persons with chronic schizophrenia, but also at a very personal level, because that was when Sir introduced me to my guru Lata, and she had shown me all those stick figures, and I still have a copy of what she had first given me at that time, and I go back to it referring to whenever I do my practice. So one of the most important things I learned that day was that yoga needed to be a way of life. Yoga cannot be simply therapy for something, but we have to adapt to it as a way of life. And I hope that's what I have done, and through the decades. So when I received a copy of this book a few days ago, the first thing that struck me was the very honest attempt at just telling the true story of a practice of the asana. And that was, to me, a very important thing. Of course, I was very excited to see the stick figures as well. And it was amazing the way the book has been very simply laid out. Anyone can understand this book. At a time when we are in the middle of a pandemic, and it seems to me that the virtual reality has flooded our entire existence. There are plenty of videos out there on the cloud which have talked about the practice of asanas, different forms. You have it anywhere. Everyone seems to be doing something on yoga and using the virtual, using the social media. But to see a book in print is something that was really fascinating for me, and I'm definitely going to make sure that I do my bit to, make sure that a lot of people actually get to see a copy of this book, because I think nothing can replace having a hard copy in hand and just watching a 20-minute video. So that was something which I thought was very amazing. The authors of this book have really gone to trouble, a great deal of effort into identifying the right kind of people to, for example, the foreword, the review. I was really very happy to read all of them. Madam Helen Macpherson, I thought it was such a beautifully written review. I really liked it very much. And of course, Dr. A.V. Balasubramaniam, I really enjoyed reading what he's there. So it shows, like Mala had said, they've actually put their heart and soul into trying to, walk on the same path as what Krishnamachari has said. And I'm really very privileged today to be part of it. I must also say I'm humbled to be a part of this journey, because I think it's very important for generation after generation to carry this story forward. And of course, I deem it a great privilege to have received the first copy from Madam Prabhashri Devan. Thank you very much, Madam. It's been a real blessing for me in this. So with a note of congratulations to Dr. Lata Satish and Dr. Dwaraknath, and with best wishes for many more such journeys, thank you very much for letting me be part of this journey.
Thank you, ma'am, for that perspective much closer to home. We are nearing the end of this event, and I would fail in my duties if I do not extend my gratitude to those that made the making of the book Asana Sahapati and this virtual book release event possible. I am deeply humbled to present the vote of thanks this evening. Firstly, I would like to thank our guests, Honorable Justice Srimati Prabhashri Devan, Shri A.V. Balasubramanian, Srimati Mala Srivatsan, and Dr. Padmavati for gracing the event with their presence. It would not have been possible to do this without their support, despite the limitations of a virtual book release of this kind. Thank you all. We would also like to thank members of our family, friends, colleagues, well-wishers, and patrons who have been a part of our journey since we started, connecting with us on our social media engagements the last few months, some who have joined this call, and others who are the audience for our Facebook Live today. You have been eagerly waiting this day with us, constantly sharing words of encouragement, feedback, and appreciation. Thank you all. We would like to thank all the senior members of the yoga fraternity and our gurus for the wisdom and knowledge that have been drawn into the making of this book. Lastly, I would like to extend this gratitude to the contributors of the book who have helped give shape to the vision of the authors. We would like to thank, in no particular order, Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai, Mr. A.V. Balasubramanian, and Miss Helen McPherson, whose foreword and reviews on the book published in this first edition have added immense credibility to our work. Mr. R. Pandian and Miss Helen McPherson for their support in the editing of the book. Mr. Anish S. Kumar for the artwork of Sage Patanjali that we have featured as part of this book. Mr. P.J. Varadaraman for the transliteration of the Sanskrit text in the book. The team of Vasan Print Manufacturing Company, Dr. Besant Road, Ice House, Chennai, Mr. Sundararaman and Mr. Karthik for their work with the printing. Mr. R. Venkateshan and team for the photographs and videos used for demonstration as part of the book and the YouTube page. Dr. T. Suresh, Mr. B. Sendil Kumar, Mr. C. Annamalai, and Mr. V. Srinivasan for the deft demonstration of the asanas, videos, and pictures.
Now, I would like to interrupt Sunanda here. Yes, just a minute, Sunanda. First of all, we owe a great deal. Thanks, very big thanks to Sunanda for creating the videos, editing the videos across the media, Facebook, this Instagram, everything. Time to time, she has been editing and updating the people with us. So thanks a lot for all the creative work. And she has designed the cover. That is the essential thing. Okay, so thanks a lot, Sunanda. Thanks. Please continue.
I request to be excused if I have missed to mention anyone that's contributed to this project. Gratitude extended to one and all. With the book released and credit and gratitude shared where it belongs, what lies ahead is the journey of learning and practice to which we believe the book Asana Sahapati has some meaningful order your copies by mailing us at Your Asana Sahapati, YOURASAHAPATHI @gmail.com or reaching us at +91 94444 45460 for orders close to Chennai, and +91 98401 41011 for orders closer to Bangalore. Copies of the book will also be made available in stands at bookstores, whose details will be shared to you shortly through our mailers, WhatsApp broadcasts, and social media pages. Please do share with us your feedback and reach out to us with queries about the book, for we wish to be part of your journey towards yoga practice and better health in ways we can in the time to come. This brings us to the end of the event. We shall now offer our prayer as a way of giving thanks to the Almighty for making this happen and seeking His blessings going forward.
I have to give flowers to all the dignitaries there. So I'm offering my flowers like this to you. This is a virtual online release. So I pray to my teachers, and their grace should be there on all of you all the time. And we also have to have a blessings from the divine. With all this short online release function, I would like to do samarpanam of everything to the divine. There's nothing beyond that. So kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatmana va prakritehe swabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanaeti samarpayami sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Shubhamastu.
This event, which is currently being live streamed on Facebook, will be recorded and shared on YouTube for the benefit of those who have missed it. We wish to meet you all soon on another occasion. Thank you all and good evening.